Hello and welcome back to another video. Again, we're here talking about all things Liverpool, and today I've noticed there's a couple of stories that are coming out around the club and around transfers and things that Liverpool are looking to do and to get done, and I wanted to discuss them now. So the first one is it's a rumour that I've seen that I just kind of wanted to give my own opinions on. Again, it's a rumour. I have no information about whether it's true or not, and if I'm being completely honest, I don't believe it myself. But it's that Liverpool might be going back in for Martin Zubimendi. So I noticed that it originally started with the rumours that he's now having complications with his contract. The new contract that Sociedad have promised him in regards to when he rejected Liverpool. There was talks that he'd be offered a new contract. And it seems like there's been some kind of complications or problems with the offering of that contract, whether there's some details that need to be finalised, or whether he's not happy with the agreement on offer, or whether he's using the Liverpool transfer to make more money. I don't know. If it's just in terms of him getting a contract, I also don't really care, to be honest with you. But that seems to have then started a rumour mill saying that Liverpool were going to go back in for it. And Originally, I saw it started. I was watching a YouTube video, and in the comment section, and then people were talking about it. People were saying, that because of this, do you think Liverpool can go back into it? So I started researching. I saw some blogs that were saying, well, actually, Richard Hughes and Liverpool are prepared to go back in with one final take it or leave it, triple your money offer, in order to convince him to stay to join the club. Personally, I don't think it's true. I think that once he says no, Liverpool would back off, mainly because of the reasons why he said no. He didn't say no because he didn't think Liverpool were offering him enough money. He said no because he wanted to stay at his boyhood club. Liverpool had already offered, from what I can understand, double what he currently earns. So that tells me it's not a money motivated decision, whether it's the presentation that was given, whether it's the mountains, whether it's tapas, whatever you choose to believe is the reason why he stayed. That is the reason why he decided to stay, not because Liverpool didn't offer enough money. So I don't think that that's true. And I also think that if Liverpool are prepared to just go back in there like one final time, we should reconsider doing that, because it makes us look more amateur than what we need to look at the moment. I can fully accept that, they thought they had the yes from the player, that it seemed like he was willing to join us, and then, at the last minute he changed his mind, whether it was because he was convinced to stay by Sociedad, whether it was the love of the club, whatever the reason was. That's fine. I can believe that, I can understand that, I can accept it, and I can move on. As I said in my video yesterday, the part that I can't accept and that I can't understand is that we don't have any other options apart from him. I've also seen it come out saying that Liverpool have basically claimed that it was Zubimendi or no one. Well, I feel like if that's the case, why waste so much time on this? Depending on what reports you believe, we've been trying to negotiate this with him for a couple of weeks now. So therefore, why, when we had the original yes, when they thought that the deal was there, just pay the money, pay the release clause, give him the money to pay his buyout, force him into making a decision there and then, when he's already on the verge of saying yes or whatever, to try and get this deal done, instead of waiting. If he's your guy, don't let him suddenly think that you're not his club that he wants to join, and basically putting the ball back into the court of Sociedad by saying, oh, go back. We obviously knew that he was going to speak to them, and we obviously knew that they were going to try and convince him to stay, and we've just let that happen. So saying that it's him or no one, I don't accept that. I don't accept it as an excuse. I don't accept it as a reason why we shouldn't be targeting a defensive midfielder. I also want to talk a little bit about other stories. I think Melissa Reddy and possibly some others have come out saying that Liverpool should be looking at the team that we've already got. And there's a reason why in the video yesterday I didn't mention Trainione as one of the players who could come into that defensive midfield spot, and that is because Liverpool had already said previously that he wasn't gonna be the first team player. Now I get that at the time maybe they was at that point discussing with Zubimendi's agents or whatever, but we'd already basically writ off Nioni being part of the team. We've also seen in the preseason games, he also played left wing for us, and now suddenly we're going to go, oh no, yeah, his position is defensive midfielder. Like, the kid, he's 17 years old, and you know, do I think he's good? Yes. Do I think he's going to be a top player in the future? Yes. Do I think that he's ready for it right now? No. If anything, Bajcetic is closer in terms of being ready to play first team football, and we're looking to loan him out. Now, I get that Bajcetic has been out for a year. I get that, you know, with his injury, we want him to go out and get some first team football somewhere and build it back up. I get his levels not being at the level that we were used to seeing him at when he was fully fit before he had his injury. But still, I think it'd be better for us to just focus on a new defence midfielder. Like, you're only 17. He's going to be coming into the team in 2, 3, 4 years. Bajcetic 19, again, another 2, 3 years, and those players will be coming in. So why can't we sign someone for the here and now? This idea that it was Zubimendi or no one, I don't get, because we don't have a player, barring probably McAllister, who can do what Zubimendi does. So it's not a case of him or no one. It should be a case of, this is the profile of player that we want, and this is the profile of player that we're going to get. And there are other options out there who fit within that profile. I'm not saying that they're necessarily going to be better if Zubimendi's like your number one choice. Obviously, we're going to be looking at going for our number 2 or number 3. But as I said yesterday, it's not like plan B, plan C, plan D hasn't worked for us in the past. So I don't believe the rumours. I don't think it's going to come true. I don't think Liverpool should just throw out a triple your money offer, because then we look desperate. And when we look that desperate to sign him, how's that going to look for other clubs when, if we do decide to go back in for a different DM, suddenly we're saying, oh, we're going to triple this player's money, we're going to pay more than what his release clause is. I know that the idea of paying more than the buyout clause is purely to try and get him to, so that we can negotiate a deal and pay like a structured payment rather than having to pay the full lot in one go. But again, if he's your guy, pay it all. Like, where's the problem in that? It's not like we didn't have the money previously, but we certainly have the money now. We've just sold Carvalho for like £30 million. We got, what was it, 7 or 9 million or something from Tottenham when they signed, I forgot his name, the Bournemouth striker, Dominic Solanke. So we have the money. So there's no reason why we can't, we couldn't just pay it if he's your guy. But yeah, I don't believe it. I don't think it's going to come true. And I think it's people getting hyped up on social media. Regarding his contract, it could be anything. It could be the length of the contract. It could be the buyout clause. It could be the wage. It could be anything. But I think that it's one of those situations where they will end up negotiating and him agreeing to a new contract. So then I want to talk a little bit about Mamardashvili. Now, I went into a bit of details about this yesterday, about what I thought. But it seems like it's progressing further now. I believe Fabrizio Romano posted earlier on today saying that we've already agreed terms with the goalkeeper, and now it's just about agreeing terms with the club. But Valencia are willing to sell him, want to sell him, whatever it's going to be. So it looks like that deal is going to go ahead. So the first thing I want to comment on is a little bit of misinformation that I've seen floating around online, and that we're going to buy him and loan him straight out to Bournemouth. That's not going to be the case, because we can't. There's a rule in place in the Premier League that says that you're not allowed to buy a player and loan him straight out to a team in the same division in the same window. So it's not possible for us to buy him and then loan him straight to Bournemouth. So it's more likely, in my opinion, that we'll loan him straight back to Valencia, and that'll probably use as some part of the negotiations in terms of trying to bring the price down. I think I've saw that Valencia want £40 million for him, but Liverpool are willing to offer up to £30 million. So that could be part of the negotiation. He goes back to Valencia on loan, but I can't see him going to Bournemouth. The next part then would be, what does this mean for Allison? And this one has got me a bit worried. Obviously, I think the problem is, so taken in isolation, I think this is a really good deal. I think planning for the future and planning for life without Allison is good. I think Mamardashvili, he's a goalkeeper that I liked before. He's someone that I know it's not real world, but I'm always signing him on Football Manager. He's got potential. I watch a lot of Spanish football. I used to live in Spain. Valencia are a team that I used to like back in the day when they had the likes of David Villa, David Silva, Juan Mata, those lot. So he's a goalkeeper that I know about, and he's a goalkeeper that I like. But the Euros, I think, is probably one of the things that put him forward, that everyone could see just how good he is in terms of his ability, his shot stopping ability. He's probably not on the same level as Allison in terms of his distribution. But that's something, I think he's 23 years old now. That's something that he can work on and he can develop over time. And therefore, securing someone who is 23 as a long-term replacement for Allison is actually a good deal, especially as we don't want to get into a situation like we are now where we're trying to scramble to find a position. If we'd lost Allison without having that quality backup in place, we would be struggling more to find that goalkeeper than I think we are now to find a defensive midfielder. That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I think. So it's a good deal, and I think this one will go through. I think Liverpool will get this over the line purely because the club, the player, and Liverpool are all in agreement about this deal going ahead. It's just going to be a case of negotiating the price. So my concern with it is what it actually means for Allison. And I think from what I've heard with the loaning him out, it's either going to be he goes out on loan for 1 year, or he goes out on loan for 1 year, comes back, and then we loan him out for a second year with the view of him becoming our permanent number one. If it's only 1 year, then that suggests to me that this will be Allison's last season at the club, which for me, it's not something that I want to see. I think in terms of what Liverpool have got at the moment, like, we do have some very good players, but we have a few world-class players with Salah, Trent as an attacking fullback, Van Dijk as a centre-back, Allison as a goalkeeper. So to lose one of those world-class players pretty much at the same time as what I expect we're going to lose Salah is something that I don't really want to kind of face that reality at the moment. I think that part of this thinking is because of the problems that we've also had in trying to sign a defensive midfielder. If we'd have got if we got Zubimendi over the line and then suddenly we sign Mamardashvili and people are talking about, oh, it's a plan for when Allison leaves, it kind of makes everything feel that little bit better. It takes the sting away a little bit. But it does concern me for the future of the club, and what that means going forward. If we are starting to lose players like Allison, like Salah, we still don't have any talk on contracts, but I'm a little bit more relaxed with the contract talks around Trent, Van Dijk and Salah, purely because I think that with the players being away at the Euros, with Hughes and Edwards trying to get the Zubimendi deal over the line, they've obviously prioritised making these signings, and then they'll look at the contracts a later time. I still think that Salah will probably leave, and that worries me, because we're succession planning for a goalkeeper that hasn't said, or at least it hasn't come out in public that he wants to leave, but we're not looking at what we're going to do for Salah if he does leave at the end of this season, and I think that that's going to cause us problems then, because my worry is that by not signing a defensive midfielder now, I think I said it yesterday, using the analogy of the house, that if we don't sign a DM now, when Liverpool notoriously don't do a great amount of business in January. We did sign Luis Diaz in January. I think we also got Gakpo in January. But what worries me is that if we don't do any business for the DM, that means that we're going to go next season and we're still going to need the DM, and we're going to need a right winger. However, we're going to need a right winger who is of the status and ability of Mo Salah, which I think we're not going to get that anyway. But if we had have signed, so for example, one of the players that's been touted around is Bakayoko, the Belgian from PSV, I believe. If we would have signed him, he could already be playing Salah's understudy this season. He could be playing in some games. He could be playing in cup games. He could be training with Liverpool. We could be getting him to the standard that we want him to be at before pushing him into the first team if Salah does leave. But instead, we're going to put ourselves in a position where at the end of the season, we're going to end up paying a lot more money because clubs know that we need a right winger to replace Salah. and then we're going to have to bring him into the first team and try and get him to play and produce the kind of quality that Salah's produced on a consistent basis. So that worries me quite a lot. And then when you add this Allison potentially leaving on top of it, it then means that come next season, assuming we sign Mamardashvili, but then is Mamardashvili going to be on the same level as Allison next season? I do think Mamardashvili is a very good goalkeeper. In terms of shot stopping, I think he's already very, very good. But in terms of his distribution, he could probably work on that. And then also, as I said, but you're looking at left back. I don't think that we're particularly great at left back at the moment. Robertson, I still like him as a player. I know he gets a bit of criticism, but I still like him. But going into his 30s, he doesn't have long left. Especially not playing at this elite level that we're at, and I don't think that Tsimikas is the kind of player that's going to come in and be our number one choice left back, and no one have an issue with that. So I think that we are looking at a point now for Liverpool where we're going to end up needing to sign quite a lot of players, especially next year. Depending on what happens with these contracts, it could be worse than what we thought. I think if you tie Van Dijk down, he could still do a job for the next 2-3 years. I'm happy with that. But we still need to start looking at a plan to try and replace him. Ironically, the Mamardashvili deal is the kind of deal that I'd like Liverpool to be doing in other areas. This season, I would like to be seeing Liverpool signing a replacement for Mo Salah. Another defender who I think they already quoted a defender that wasn't going to go straight into the first team now, but was going to be one for the future. So looking at that long-term plan for Van Dijk, looking at a long-term plan for the left-back position, but instead we're strengthening a goalkeeper, which, I think most people agree that at this moment in time we don't need a goalkeeper, which suggests to me that we are going to need a goalkeeper soon. So, you fix your roof while the sun's shining. So that's the stories that I wanted to talk about today, and that's my thoughts on those. Again, I don't think there's anything really in Zubimendi. I think that his rejection is final, and I think if Liverpool do make this final take it or leave it offer where we're tripling his wages, it shows us to be desperate, and it's not the way that I expect Liverpool to do business, especially not with Edwards. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you agree with anything I've said, if you disagree with anything I said. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel to be notified when I next upload. What I am looking to do is to do daily uploads from now on. So it could be anything from looking at the way Liverpool have played. I want to do match breakdowns as well. So after we play, so the first game obviously be Ipswich, to do a breakdown of what I thought of the game, tactical breakdowns, things like that. But also just little chats like this where I'm commenting on rumours, speculation, what I think about a transfer if it does go ahead, or if I think a transfer is basically nonsense. So let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see. Let me know if you'd like me to start doing live streams where people can take part in, and other things like that, and I'll gladly add it onto the channel as well. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all soon.